I don't know how Baganda call it, but the ID card.
Yes.
The ID card is so not analog. It is so digital that you can just pass through every location in East Africa normally. But then we introduced the East African passport, and I realized that, but that is just a duplication of the ID card that has the same biodata, you know? And we should be able to just use our ID card to cross over. It's only at SADC level, and Professor Lumumba was really discussing that way forward, the roadmap, where SADC, East African Community, the West African ECOWAS, let's see that marriage, people. There are only about 5 regions.
But these regions have elders. The West African have elders, and the elders always sit together. Ironically, our cultures actually work together. Our cultures
we are cohesive.
The food we eat are cohesive. The food we eat are similar. And the way we relate with each other are very similar.
It's the same.
The similarity between the things that we say we do is who we are. We are black.
But the danger is the colonial languages. The Francophones looking down on the Anglophones who look down on the Germans. I was trying to explain to somebody that, look, actually a Murundi lady was the first president in the region. They said, but she's not from our region. Then I answered the gentleman that, tell that to the Germans who ruled the 3 countries simultaneously, Tanzania, Burundi, and Rwanda. They were the German subjects. Yes.
I've been in Uganda for very many years, and I believe Uganda is the place anybody should aspire to live in. We have good weather, we have abundance of food, we have abundance of employment as long as you look out for the right things. But Uganda has been hit in recent times with a stigma of greed, and it shows in everything that we read in the newspapers. It shows on television. It shows even when you're sitting down with people just trying to make ends meet. Everybody wants to bite off a piece that's bigger than what they deserve. That is Uganda's major problem in my eyes. If only we could curb the greed, if only we could share out that pie equally and of course responsibly, then we will be the best country on the planet. In the next 5 years, I really wish and hope that Ugandans can look at the bigger picture, can look at Uganda as a country, can look at their neighbors, their friends, and see that everybody needs equal opportunity. Because in the next 5 years, I don't want people to be calling me up saying, please, can you find me a job? I want people to be calling me up and saying, would you like to come and work with me? That is what I'd like to see. In the next 50 years, I don't want to see my child suffering. I want to see him prosperous. I want to see him with a good wife, with children, with a family of his own, living the dream. That's what I would like to see in Uganda. That's my honest opinion. And I'm Mark Kaheru. I'm Ugandan. What do you say?
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They have moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
Welcome to the Elders Wisdom Circle. My name is Eddie Okila, straight out of Kampala, the Pearl of Africa. To the rest of the world, we are serving the elders and the wisdom of the elders to the young. How are you all doing? All the followers and everyone who loves to chill and rock and roll with the elders. Welcome to the show. You will probably find this show very boring if you do not want to hear from the elders. If you're one of those people who say, they get into my nuts, they run me crazy, you don't know. Do not actually know what you're missing. You don't know how important is or are elders in our life. Sharing the heart of the elders at 54 years of age is the one and only Jaffa Raymond Amin, the son of the former President Idi Amin Dada. And just before we bring Jaffa on the show, I would like to tell you that the Elders Wisdom Circle on this day is very special. And the topic is, I am because we are. The cultural wholesomeness of sharing and caring for each other is very important going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, before I talk about the Ubuntu, I would like to bring the one and only, the son of the former President Idi Amin Dada, the third born son, the man with the wisdom of Amin, the man with the secret box of the former President Idi Amin Dada. Jaffa, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
It's a pleasure.
And today, contrary, you're dressed like Baba.
This is Senator. But I tend to like the ones from Ghana.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a good shop.
Okay.
At Victoria Mall.
Yes.
And another one at Mabirizi. They always take care of me. Senator.
Yes. And we would like to say welcome to the Elders Wisdom Circle.
Thank you.
And we want to start with, first of all, I know we talked about it, the celebration around the former president of Tanzania and the things that he has said. Today on the show, we are seeing people celebrating when he says, get out of your comfort zone and go and work.
Wonderful.
And people are like, this is coming from the president. There are a lot of mixed reactions about the man, but actually he was a man of character, a man.
He was a driven. He was driven.
Yes.
And the drivenness, we don't ask this for everyone, but he had been suffering for 25 years with a heart problem.
Yeah.
So he understood that his life was finite.
Yes.
The fact that somebody can appreciate that life is finite, and we are not immortal, gives you that drive.
Wow.
So when you look back at his 6 years and what he accomplished, you just have to salute the man. I was listening to Lumumba, Professor Lumumba, and he was, I thought I was articulate, but Professor Lumumba, Lord have mercy. That Kenyan is as articulate as they come.
Yes.
A true African elder with a PhD to boot.
Wow. Well, Jaffa, I think that listening to all our elders and what has happened in Tanzania has been able to teach us a lot more. And if you're young and under the age of 40, 30, 25, 20, you need to be involved in the matters of our society, of our nation, going forward without having to insult the elders. You need to go to the elders and actually seek wisdom from the elders.
And have a conversation with them. But speaking to power. Because ordinarily in society, they are the purveyors of responsibility.
Absolutely true. Jaffa today on the show, and everyone joining us from all across the world, we're live on Twitter, we're live on Facebook, we're live on our YouTube channel, and we would like to say thank you very much for being a part of the Elders Wisdom Circle, growing bigger and better every single day, touching lives all around us and bringing the healing of our elders to our generation all across the world. And to all our African brothers, the stories of elders in Kampala, in Uganda, in East Africa is the same in Ghana, is the same in West Africa, is the same in Central Republic, is the same in South Africa, is the same in North Africa. We must continue to be connected with the elders. I want to say this, Jaffa, that in the world today, Africa continues to remain the place with the preservative, true, authentic, preservative nature of nuclear family.
Thank you very much.
And Africa is still holding that mantle.
The wholesomeness
of the nuclear family is still holding in Africa. What does that make you feel like?
Very proud, very affectionate about it, and I refuse to make the mistake the missionaries tried to instill in us, whether Arab or European, of learning to hate thyself. That's why I gave that beginning.
Yes, and I want to go through that. I am because we are the cultural awesomeness of sharing information and sharing ideas.
Once you accept who you are, it is very hard for somebody to come and actually try to unhinge you from having that culture of sharing. You can have that drive to succeed, but it should never become the selfishness that we call the religiousness of narcissism.
Wow.
You know? Yes. Which is overwhelming us people at political level, at family level. The minute you hear a hint from your wife, you're selfish, what you did was selfish. You pull back and realize you have to get back to what is, read that statement again.
Yes, and the statement is, I am because we are cultural awesomeness of sharing.
But that part at the beginning.
It's very important. And I think that elders should not stop their role of continuous education, continuous imparting of knowledge to the young going forward. That said, Jaffa, and to everyone out there, I would want to take you to the spirit of Ubuntu. An anthropologist showed a game to the children of an African tribe.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, as he stated. And he placed a basket of delicious fruits near a tree trunk and told them, the first child to reach the tree will get the basket.
In the spirit of competition.
Yes.
We always think competition is good, but listen.
Including when he gave them the start signal. He was surprised that they were walking together holding hands until they reached the tree and shared the fruit.
The unexpected. When they look at savages and they see an almost angelic, unexpected goodness, wholesomeness.
Wow.
That was the moment of truth.
Yes. And when he asked them, why you did that when every one of you could get the basket only for him?
Self. I'd rather add for himself.
Yes, for himself.
That selfish thing.
Yes, and they answered, with astonishment Ubuntu.
They were actually shocked.
Yes.
How can a white man not even understand this? At the bedrock of values, of morality.
Yeah.
Ubuntu. My tribe says Mutu when we're talking about Mutu.
Yes, Mutu.
We say Mutu. I say Mutu Laga.
Yes.
That man. Which is the same thing as Ubuntu.
Yes.
You know, languages are universal.
Yes. And we got 54 dialect in Africa, and so really
in Uganda.
In Uganda alone, and so if Uganda alone has 54, if you put
half
together,
of them are Bantu.
Yes.
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Yeah.
And that's the spirit. And so he went to say that is how. And so he says that's how. That is how can one of us be happy while the rest are miserable?
Remember, they're shocked
at
the immorality of the question, and they're answering it.
And it says, Ubuntu in their civilization means I am because we are together in it.
That's sharing.
Yes. I want to say this, that the indigenous people knows the secret of happiness that has been lost in all societies that transcend them and which considers themselves civilized society.
And they look down at us.
Exactly.
And they look down on us.
Which is what we often refer to as the
But every missionary who comes here finds the spiritual liveliness and wholesomeness that shames them. The ones who stay learn from it.
And love it.
And love it. But there are some who keep coming and pressing. And they keep fighting about having a better education, but not learning from this story.
Wow.
I've had a similar situation. The first series we did with you, I kept telling you about this business of going to the village boastfully with your 50,000 worth of salt. I call it poisonous salt, poisonous sugar, poisonous processed oil, and feeling great at providing. Lo and behold, when you're returning at the weekends, at the week's end, they give you produce worth 500,000. When you get home and you're really offloading the produce, that Ubuntu, the sense of sharing, the appreciation for that salt, for that sugar, for that processed oil, the rewards are astronomical. And the multiplier effect is Ubuntu at its finest. And that's what actually pressed me to learn about ourselves, because I realized, my God, shame on you. What is your 50 when they can give you 500,000 in a week? Something that will last you probably for 1 month.
Yes.
Not going to Safeway, not going to ShopRite, not going to Game Store, not going to Carrefour, you know? But organic food that we consider expensive, that's the irony.
Which is actually very expensive.
It is, oh my God. Huh?
So the irony of that is that the ability of our people not to realize
the selfless sharing.
Yes, not to realize that what we are sharing selflessly is actually more valuable. It's
much more.
Yes,
1,000 times much more.
The abundance of it here
is
given to us by the Most High. That the
thank you. Do you know how we run away from rain?
Yes.
Some people told me, no, just stand in it and take it, soak it up.
Yes.
It's free. The Almighty gives us that freely. learn that is the sense of sharing.
Yes. That God can say, abundance I have, and so receive. And
people never talk about this, but I'm bringing a concept to this, and that's the reason I gave you that funny name at the end. African capitalism, where we share while we're gaining.
Yes.
Not the greed, not the narcissism of Yanje, Yanje. I was making people in the taxi laugh. I said the head of state wakes up and goes, Yanje, 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 a fear of loss.
Yes.
Chirumira, Chirumira, Yange, Yange, Yange. You wake up a fear of loss.
Yes.
Even the fear of losing your beloved wife to another is a constant. Ubuntu teaches us to relax.
Wow.
Because we have it in abundance.
Yes.
Today we're very spiritual.
Yes, and a deep conversation. I want you to know we're going for a break, and when we come back, Jaffa and I are going to be taking you through for the next 35 minutes of the show. We're going to be talking about the spirit of I am because we are, and the culture of some sharing of the stuff. Like when you go to the village and Jaffa say you give 5 kilos of sugar and you come back with a truck and a trunk full of fresh fruits.
Worth 500,000.
What's the equation right now? We'll be right back after
Ubuntu.
Yes.
The equation is Ubuntu. Sharing.
That's what the circle. Will be right back after the break.
I've been in Uganda for very many years, and I believe Uganda is the place anybody should aspire to live in. We have good weather, we have abundance of food, we have abundance of employment as long as you look out for the right things. But Uganda has been hit in recent times with the stigma of greed, and it shows in everything that we read in the newspapers. It shows on television. It shows even when you're sitting down with people just trying to make ends meet. Everybody wants to bite off a piece that's bigger than what they deserve. That is Uganda's major problem in my eyes. If only we could curb the greed, if only we could share out that pie equally and of course responsibly, then we will be the best country on the planet. In the next 5 years, I really wish and hope that Ugandans can look at the bigger picture, can look at Uganda as a country, can look at their neighbors, their friends, and see that everybody needs equal opportunity. Because in the next 5 years, I don't want people to be calling me up saying, please, can you find me a job? I want people to be calling me up and saying, would you like to come and work with me? That is what I'd like to see. In the next 50 years, I don't want to see my child suffering. I want to see him prosperous. I want to see him with a good wife, with children, with a family of his own, living the dream. That's what I would like to see in Uganda. That's my honest opinion. And I'm Mark Kaheru, I'm Ugandan. What do you say?
Young people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They have moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Yeah, remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
the break. This is the Elders Wisdom Circle. In the studio is myself, Eddie Okila, and Jaffa Remo Amin, the third born son of Idi Amin Dada. We believe that this man has the wisdom of Amin. We also believe that Amin deposited some of his secrets, deep-seated secrets, on his third born son. Just like Jacob did it to Joseph at some point, and Joseph was the heir to the throne. Could this be the case in Amin's house? Jaffa, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for that one.
So we have to keep trying to break down the mystery behind Amin and you and the family of Amin with our 60 children. We don't know which one, but we seem to be guessing that you could be the mystery child.
Can I give something to that point?
Yes, yes.
I got pretty angry about our properties not coming back to us.
Yes.
And I was really becoming forceful and wanting to live the high life back in Kololo, you know?
Yes.
But he told me, "De Malta Dunya, these are worldly things." He would say, "These are worldly things."
Yes.
Do you know how that shames you back into your shell? You are going full throttle to become very demanding. You know, I call it the Biafre syndrome.
Yes.
Demanding. But he was reminding me, these are worldly things.
Wow.
He's the type of person who, when the people had decided that the Cadillac, the expensive cars, they were all parked at Nakasongola. They were loading them onto a Hercules to take them to Libya. He finds out, he said, no. Take those cars out of there. Where are you taking them? Now, others would have loaded them up like the Gambian president. He loaded his cars to exile. He needed his Hummer. He needed his Rolls Royce. He needed things. So sometimes my selflessness becomes a hindrance because I learned from the best who learned to let go.
Yes. That said, Jaffa, and we want to discuss the issue of I am because we are. Can you just break this statement to us? Ubuntu keeps saying I am because we are.
Yeah.
Can you just break that up right now for us?
Without that 1%, we wouldn't be. My parents are me. I am my parents. The day I get my degree is the day I start looking down at my parents who sold their goats to take me to school.
Dug themselves.
That is the moment where instead of embracing them, we tend to start becoming very, for me, I have my books moments. If you can understand, I am me because we are.
Yes.
That keeps you in check. Me being told by my mother, you like your stepmothers, but I'm your mother. She was basically trying to say, they're classier than I am, but I am your mother.
Yeah.
Once I get my faith to another level, I shouldn't be acting like an Arab. I am forever African. Comes back to the same statement. I've seen pastors who go for 2 weeks to America and they went to saying God, they come back saying God. 2 weeks of transformation. the day you forget who you are.
The man of God.
I'm like, what happened to Godi? God!
Yes.
Is he another person?
Yes.
No, we're talking about God. I'm like, you just went 2 weeks. Yeah, but you speak like British.
Yes.
For me, I'm American. God! I'm just trying to say that this statement is so important in identity.
Please put that stop. Let's put that up there so that you guys can see it. It's
I am because we are.
Yeah.
The cultural wholesomeness of sharing comes in you knowing who you are. Those children chasing the chicken just before you set off for Kampala, they bring it with all the, like Chicken George or Rambo, no, who's it? Sylvester Stallone, as the boxer,
yes.
Rocky,
yes.
chasing the chicken,
yes.
to get it for you so that Eddie gets it back to Kampala. That infinite sense
yes.
of sharing comes from actually love and acceptance of who you are. Me, that's the reasoning behind that statement.
Wow. Well, you heard it. The story of I am because we are is quite a very important situation right there for us to be able to look into. Jaffa's just broken it up for us. Sometimes we don't understand the elders that you are now a university graduate, but your father sold goats, chicken, cows, rats, everything else to raise the money to take you to school. You are who you are today because of them. How much respect do we give to the elders? How much respect are you giving back to your father? That is the statement we have on the screen right there. Think about it. Think about the statement and say, before I abuse my father, my mother, that they don't wear good clothes or they don't dress well.
Or they don't understand.
They don't understand. They should know that they sold goats and cows.
They cared enough for you.
Yes, they dug so much so that their son and their daughter can have something.
Me, that's the true meaning of sacrifice.
Wow.
And a mother's selfless love is the #1 form of that. They give everything.
Jaffa, we want to hasten to the next one. The cultural wholesomeness of sharing.
I use my word. I know everybody thinks about it.
Yes.
African capitalism. I'm tired of listening to capital socialism because they use it as a dirty word in the West.
Yes.
Yes. What we got from the Magufulis at the tail end of Nyerere's revolution was African socialism. But if China can transcend that and become a command capitalist, ours should be African capitalism, where we can share while earning from it.
I wanted to, while you share that about the Africa, and then I want to bring this together. Most African countries today have closed their borders to their own fellow Africans. You need a visa to enter South Africa. But we're from moving from the eastern part of Africa to southern part of Africa, you need a visa. Just to enter Rwanda here, we will need Kenya here. We need
security vetting,
and
Interpol,
yes, and everything, and a visa to enter. And I'm saying, where do we draw the line of this Ubuntu spirit that you're talking about? Have our elders stopped speaking to us to tell us, look, young men and young women?
I feel that the leaders started clashing heads. It happened at a moment when, ironically, we had already given each and every person to get, how do you call it, kitambulisho. I don't know how Baganda call it, but the ID card.
Yes.
The ID card is so not analog. It is so digital that you can just pass through every location in East Africa normally. But then we introduced the East African passport, and I realized that, but that is just a duplication of the ID card that has the same biodata, you know? And we should be able to just use our ID card to cross over. It's only at SADC level, and Professor Lumumba was really discussing that way forward, the roadmap, where SADC, East African Community, the West African ECOWAS, let's see that marriage, people. There are only about 5 regions.
But these regions have elders. The West African have elders, and the elders always sit together. Ironically, our cultures actually work together. Our cultures are
we are cohesive.
The food we eat are cohesive. The food we eat are similar, and the way we relate with each other are very similar.
It's the same.
The similarity between the things that we say we do is who we are. We are black.
The danger is the colonial languages. Francophones looking down on the Anglophones who look down on the Germans. I was trying to explain to somebody that, look, actually a Murundi lady was the first president in the region. They said, but she's not from our region. Then I answered the gentleman that, tell that to the Germans who ruled the 3 countries simultaneously, Tanzania, Burundi, and Rwanda. They were the German subjects. Yeah. Tell that to a German. They said, no, no, they're one. And their cultures are one. Language. The language barrier is actually the greatest hindrance.
Yes, but I want to put this to you, Jaffa, as my third question just before we take a break. The Western world have their language. The English, which is predominantly spoken in Europe, and the Dutch, they have their language. They have never lost their identity to their language, which means their culture still remains the same. Yeah. Where have we gone wrong in Africa that when we start to speak, we forget about the culture? I may have been born in an era where my father, my mother was not able to teach me my own language for some one reason or the other, but that doesn't mean it takes away my identity and culture, my sense of culture, my sense of belonging, and take it away, because I still feel I am who I am today because I'm African.
We are.
Yes, because we are.
The reasoning was, unfortunately, whether it is my Arab brothers or my European brothers, we tagged languages within the parameters of satanic. They started preaching that your language is satanic, your culture is satanic. So stay away from it. The Musomi, the one who reads, who learns Latin fastest, who learns Arabic fastest, is more wholesome. It was a way of breaking us away from who we are. With slavery, remember the Toby? The man was Kunta Kinte, but was being whipped into submission to accept a slaver's name. I find my good friends in the West, I'm talking about Western Ugandan, they like using Western surnames. You hear somebody called Johnson Biaruhanga. I'm like, you have double surname. He said, no, no, that's my Christian name. I'm like, no, that Johnson is a surname, and then Biaruhanga is a surname. Yes. Where's your Christian name? He looks perplexed. Another one comes from the corner, I am Jackson Mwanga. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, that is a Scandinavian name, son name, and here you're a Mwanga. What's going on? I'm saying they pulled us, ironically, away from who we are. If somebody can get to that point of having a double son name.
Yes, I think, well, I have the same, but I don't know whether I have the same name, but I have Okila. And I have Eddie, so...
but Edward is a Christian.
Yes, yes. So I want to go to my friend Onyaito Deke and Diwato Chom.
Yes,
change their names and want to swap
Pan-Africanists.
The next one is Pastor Senpai. He says, I want to change my name from Sempa to Baba Gwanga.
No, but his Sempa is perfect. Yes, Sempa. You Muganda. That one is a gere. Those ones came. Those ones are Banyoro.
He said no.
Royals are Banyoro. Royals are Banyoro.
But his father is
Royals.
His father is an Indian, and his mother is a Muganda girl. But he got married at the wrong time, and so your dad asked those who want to stay here to stay, and those who don't want to stay to leave. And so his father's family chose to leave. So Sempa said he grew up without the father. He was sharing his story here. So he said he wants to change his name. But I just want to bring this to the context of these guys changing their names. What do you have to say? Because you're saying we have double names.
I have double names.
Yes.
The whole notion of questioning my identity as a Ugandan comes from seeing Idi Amin. Those are two Arab names.
Yes.
Jafar Amin. Those are two Arab names.
Yes.
Everyone in Bombo has Muhammad Hussein.
Yes.
Until you quantify yourself as Remo.
Yes.
Dada. Alemi.
Yes.
My name is Remo. My father's name is Alemi. My grandfather's name is Dada.
Yes.
Ah.
So I'm in a good place as Okila.
You're in perfection. Now, the Northerners have that important point. So-called Muslims from West Nile will always have that third name sitting in the middle, the balance.
Yes.
The Remo, Jafar, Remo, Amin.
Yes. So,
my identity is sitting smack bang in the middle.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you get your identity now to put it back from where now?
My point is,
yes,
I don't want to hear people saying, don't use that that savage name, or don't use that that abominable name. Some people would, somebody saying, oh, my name is Jafar Ondoroma. What's your other name? Amin Ondoroma. No, out. No, there's some people. My grandfather
Jafar has arrived.
My grandfather,
yes.
Rajab.
Yes.
We don't say uncle or great uncle. Yes. No. One father was called Rajab, the other one was called Amin.
Yes.
Every time my grandfather would wash ablution and get ready to go to the mosque on Friday like we did today, villagers will come and say, Yango! That's his name. Yango! He said, don't call me that savage, abominable name. He'd go back and take ablution. He would end up doing it 5 times. But the villagers were having
having a ball.
They were having, including his daughters. Astaghfirullah. It's like I seek refuge in the name of the Almighty. How can you call me that abominable name? Yango?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Suckers going for break, and when we come back, Jaffa will be able to conclude the show. This show has gone bananas. And sweet potatoes in Africa. We'll be right back after the break. This is the Elders Wisdom Circle.
Being comfortable with who you are.
Yes.
I've been in Uganda for very many years, and I believe Uganda is the place anybody should aspire to live in. We have good weather, we have abundance of food, we have abundance of employment as long as you look out for the right things. But Uganda has been hit in recent times with the stigma of greed, and it shows in everything that we read in the newspapers. It shows on television. It shows even when you're sitting down with people just trying to make ends meet. Everybody wants to bite off a piece that's bigger than what they deserve. That is Uganda's major problem in my eyes. If only we could curb the greed, if only we could share out that pie equally and of course responsibly, then we will be the best country on the planet. In the next 5 years, I really wish and hope that Ugandans can look at the bigger picture, can look at Uganda as a country, can look at their neighbors, their friends, and see that everybody needs equal opportunity. Because in the next 5 years, I don't want people to be calling me up saying, please, can you find me a job? I want people to be calling me up and saying, would you like to come and work with me? That is what I'd like to see. In the next 50 years, I don't want to see my child suffering. I want to see him prosperous. I want to see him with a good wife. with children, with a family of his own, living the dream. That's what I would like to see in Uganda. That's my honest opinion. And I'm Mark Kaheru, I'm Ugandan. What do you say?
Young people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
This is the Elders Wisdom Circle. My name is Eddie Okela and welcome to the program. We are talking about the Elders Wisdom. The Elders Wisdom. Do you have elders in your life? Do you have elders at home? Do you listen to your elders? Elders means those who are 50 and above. They have seen more life than a person who is 50 below. 50 and above, even if they're 4 years like Jaffa, those experiences of 4 years are greater than the person who have not reached there even by a quarter of it, right? And so don't think that a 50-year-old is very young. No, 50 plus is an experience that needs to be shared with us. If somebody is older than you by 10 years, take time and listen to them. And listen to them carefully because the experiences they've been through in life are greater than yours. And they might save you from more trouble than good. All right? And so on this show, we tend to share some of the things. And today, Jaffa is talking about I am because we are. And that means that the name we have in Africa and the things we're going through in Africa is because our elders defined them for us. It's because the elders, those who came before us and left before us, have done something greater than we have not done ourselves. So we must learn from them and move forward. Therefore, the foray into the elders' life needs some really great insights. I would like to welcome Jaffa back on the show.
Thank you.
And Jaffa, we're going to hasten to the close, and I want to take you to the wisdom of our elders back in the days. Taught them how to survive when they go to hunt. And they hunted, came back, put the meat, roasted it, and kept the dry meat, not in the fridge, but in the granary.
And properly roasted.
And always
dried.
wrapped inside the banana leaves or
And
put
dried.
in the pot and dried. And they will pick it up. Now we're living in the eras of fridges, refrigeration. All right? I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying there was some wisdom we had there. They had granaries where they will put bananas, okay, cut and kept there, or millet was be put there. All across Africa, you'll find the same, behavior. Yes, setup. You can. We'll get sweet potatoes. We slice them into whatever, into small pieces, and then we
preserve them,
and then we keep
store,
it. Yes,
storage.
Store it. Yes.
What we call food security.
Exactly. So food security in Africa has always been the wisdom of the elders.
Yes.
Now,
and
the
our
food
mothers.
security, and our mothers. But now the food security in Africa is being said that you need to get this crop because your soil is going. Where does that leave us? Where are our elders to speak sense to us to say, yo, young, slow down a bit. This is how we did it. But that culture has disappeared.
It has disappeared in this way. Let me give you what even taught us in the first place to start preserving. We used to have selfish hunters who would go, and you always, because of the greed in humanity, you'd always go and seek the one-ton buffalo. It is so easy to put down a one-ton buffalo. And it is so easy with greed to slice it open and start roasting your favorite liver and chopping off one leg. But lo and behold, if you had not come with a crowd of your people, helpers from the village, by the time you get back to the village, the hyenas would have feasted on the 1 ton, or the 950 tons left in the wilderness. So it taught them to actually bring the wives, 20 wives, sisters, and other helpers to come and share and transport the benefit of their sweat. But in the beginning, it was constantly fighting off animals that would want a share of whatever provisions you have actually brought sustenance to the area. Yeah? So if you see us doing gugus, we call them gugus. The how do you call them? The food storage granaries.
Yes, the granaries.
That taught us that sense of preservation.
By the way, we want to just say to people that the granaries that we're talking about here no longer exist, but the elders' wisdom circle is going to go on a hunt to find the granaries, whether in Western Uganda, Eastern Uganda, Northern Uganda, then wherever we find that, or in Central Uganda, we want to show you what the granary looks like.
And can I tell you something that's dear to my heart?
What we need to do is to reach to some of the elders to tell them, put a granary for us and put some stuff inside.
Yeah. No, the challenge is...
emotions.
The challenge is this, where mothers come, they cut the palm fronds, and they build for you a granary right in front of your eyes. It's like knitting, because they're using palms and palms. You know, it preserves better. Put the platform, setting it with the... Now, there's an architect from West Nile called Waswa Primo. He has useful names. Primo. You wonder where it comes from.
Japan. I drive Primo.
Waswa has built an 8-storied design for a cultural center, which we want to build in every region of Uganda and multiply it 15 times and try to do that to every location in the whole of Africa. I want to introduce that to Baba Professor Lumumba, because we're together in an ironic company called Saint Africa, where we're going to highlight the positives of our people.
This is with Bedford Buyungo.
Yeah, Bedford Buyungo, if you're listening. And Professor is in town, by the way.
Right now. I think he's
No, he was yesterday live on NBS. Okay. And NBS is a TV station in Uganda. But these are the people who are saying, we have a right to call our people saints. Saints in the sense that all goodness resides amongst those who are saintly characters who would actually give back to society.
Which is the cultural wholesomeness of sharing.
Yes, and the whole point of I am because we are. And understanding and accepting who you are. You know? Remember me laughing at my grandfather? A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
And that explains somebody calling himself Johnson Biarohanga or Johnson Alemi or Jafar Amin instead of Remo Alemi Dada.
If you want to show this one here for you, and of course Onyaito Deke, they will love this show today because they changed their names back to Onyaito Deke.
Learning to love yourself.
Yes, and that's a cool stuff.
Yeah, remember the girls who came last week. I hope you really get a show for them. There's a part that Americans did to us that we are not doing to ourselves. They would always say, I am somebody. You might not love who I am, but I am somebody.
Yes.
I am somebody. It became a chant for us, the people who are Black Panthers. I am somebody. that looking in the face that we were talking about two shows earlier.
Yes.
Learning to love ourselves comes out very beautifully with the Ubuntu statement. I am because we are.
Please put that topic up there, and we're going to ask Jaffa the last question as we hasten to the close of the show today. We are talking about, put it up there. We want to keep it up on the screen for some time so people can see it. I am because we are, the cultural wholesomeness of sharing. And we're talking about the Ubuntu, and I always talked about If we do not give ourselves a chance to live and to breathe, the things that are very important to us, we're going to lose ourselves in the process of transition.
That is it. That is it.
And if our elders are not preserving our cultures or writing about it, we are going to lose our sense of identity.
Yeah.
Jaffa, we suffer the biggest sense of identity as a country.
Yes.
As a continent.
Yes.
The biggest problem we have is our sense of identity has been confused. It's a fluid, Onyaitedeke says it's fluid in this generation that we don't understand what we stand for. Who am I? What am I? What are the values that define me as a person? Is lost. We need elders in the fireplace to tell us this. Why and how can we put back our identity? Where can we find the elders who can speak life and sense back to us?
Let me give you a beautiful one. My favorite place is called Kidepo. Kidepo, when you go to Morongole Mountain, then you go to an incredible crater lake near Turkana, and then you come to Elgon. It seems to be an epicenter of all life, all Africans, or the essence of all our genetic identity. Now you find a rabbi coming from Israel saying he's looking for the lost Hebrews in the very same vicinity. If somebody has spent his years in Igbo trying to be an Israelite, rather than understanding that they came from me, you will never settle in who you are. That explains me calling myself Jafar Amin. I'm too busy trying to be an Arab. But there's the wholesomeness of being a Muslim and a Christian. It teaches you the highest sense of morals, but it also teaches you a heightened sense of entitlement of who you are. When we balance that by accepting who we are, and you're shocked by a rabbi who says, there's an epicenter here of the 10 lost tribes, because for us we only have, he was telling me strange things, we only have the best